as you start to go through hormonal decline, you're doing these juice cleanses and these supplements and all these things and cutting out whole food groups, but you have to be protecting your muscle at all costs. Hey guys, welcome to the Strong Beauty Method podcast. I am your host, Lydia Martinez Ebling, and on this podcast, we dive into everything for women over 40 when it comes to getting healthy, fit, strong, aging healthfully, confident in your own skin. I'm always adding stuff in there. I can't help myself. But yes, we are moving on and wrapping things up. On this episode, I want to talk about some basics. What do I mean that we're wrapping things up? If you're just joining us, I've been doing a series called Mastering Your Metabolism, and it's about unlocking the secrets to being healthy and fit over 40, healthy, fit, strong, aging healthily over 40. It's all blended there together. But the point is, I wanted to put a series together of just basics for you to understand nutrition and how it plays a role in everything that you do. That's why I did the series. And I'll go back. You can go back and listen to the other episodes, because that's what I started out this podcast with, is this whole series. But today I'm going to wrap it up, and I want to give you some basic things to focus on. Now, I'm just wrapping up this series. I'm not wrapping up the podcast. I just want to make that clear, because there's so much to unpack when it comes to getting healthy, fit, strong, and aging healthily. But that doesn't mean that you have to go into overwhelm. That doesn't mean that it has to be painful. Now, let me focus in here for a second. What do I mean by that? Because I've been talking over the last few episodes, I've been talking a lot about nutrition and macros, because macronutrients make up your calories. And one of the things that I said in the very beginning is there's two undeniable truths. Number one is that the energy and life that you bring to each day enters the body through nutrition. Bottom line, okay? Because your body is an incredible piece of machinery. And when you give it the right raw materials, you give it the ability to do incredible things. And you give it the ability to heal itself. Number two, the undeniable truth is that the body's dynamic. It's not static. What does that mean? It means that you can influence how quickly or slowly you age, how fast or slow your metabolism is, based on the food that you eat, the activity that you choose, the supplements that you take, and the environment that you choose to surround yourself in. So why is that important? Because this whole podcast is for women over 40, being healthy, fit, strong, aging healthfully, confident in your own skin. And the facts is that we're not really healthy, okay? And we kind of settle into the things that we're kind of being taught and shoveled, keep it clean here, the crap that we've been shoveled over the years. Things like that's normal for your age. When you go and you don't feel right, you have poor sleep, you're waking up groggy, you got mood swings, night sweats, hot flashes, weight gain and haven't even changed anything, no to low libido, hair is getting brittle looking or even thinning out. I mean, just all the different things you're experiencing. So you go and get labs done or blood work, and your health professional, and I'm not here to beat up any health professional, so don't send me messages, because they're very important. I am not anti-health professional, but what I am, how do I say that? But I'm not anti-health professional, but I am about you being your own health advocate, okay? So rewinding is that we're told often, well, that's normal for your age. Well, normal is not optimal. We want to be optimal. I want to live optimal. I don't want to live normal. How about you? Okay. Now, I went on a little tangent there, but we've been talking about nutrition and been talking about macros. And one of the things that I mentioned early on is that why is nutrition? Why nutrition? Because nutrition is the base. I gave you the two undeniable truths. But what am I talking about at the base? If you're just joining us, I'm talking about, if you're not watching me on, the video podcast as far as YouTube, I have a pyramid. I call it the hormone health hierarchy, because hormones have everything to do with how we age. But it's not just your hormones. It's like your epigenetics, your DNA. How we treat our DNA, it will determine how we react to food, in a sense. Like our DNA determines, we know that our DNA determines our hair color, our eye color, our skin color, our personality, but also there are genes that can be influenced by our lifestyle. Going back to your body's dynamic is not static. That means that you not only can influence how closely you age, but if your family has a propensity for something, it doesn't mean that you're destined, because that's part of the epigenetics. It's part of being able to feed your DNA properly. And your DNA, just because one food might be healthy for me and makes me feel amazing, your DNA might say something different. And how we treat our DNA is really important, because our DNA talks to our cells talk to our body, and our body, right, is like where our hormones come in. And our hormones are those chemical messengers that tell us whether we're happy, whether we're sad, whether we're hungry, whether we're full, whether we have a libido or not, whether we like the person sitting right next to us at the given moment, how mentally clear we are throughout the day. Like all of those things, and how we burn energy, what our body will actually look like, how it will age. But it's not as simple as we start to mature and going and getting what we call bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Now I rewind, going back to the hormone health hierarchy. Food is going to be at the base, cleaning up your system. Right? That pyramid, and not the food pyramid, but the hormone health hierarchy, where we talk a lot about food, because that is the most abundant thing that we need. We need food, we need water, and we need rest. Okay? But then we break down the hormone health hierarchy. It's food. Then I have intermittent fasting and fasting strategies. Then it's exercise, but a specific type of exercise, not just activity. We want activity, but we want strength training. And we have to rest. Those are, they're on the same line because they're equally important. Then there's supplementation. Then there's what we call BHRT, which is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And then at the very tippy top is little to no medication. And when we're taking care of our body and we take care of it in that order, we get better results. But food is always going to be the base. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And I've talked a lot about a lot of different things in the sense I've been talking about macros and why they're important. And you're like, but do I have to track macros? No, you don't have to. But if you're tired of how you're feeling, so too often we say we want to lose weight. I want to get healthy. And I talked about this a little bit on last episode, I think. I talk a lot, so I don't remember what I talked about always. But if you really want to get specific, like if you're tired of feeling how you're feeling, too often what will happen is I want to lose weight, I want to get healthy, I want to get fit, I want to tone up, but then we don't even know really where we are, and then we just start doing these things, taking these supplements. Oh, I'm just going to start fasting, and we're wondering why we're not really getting results. Well, there's a lot of different reasons why we're not getting results, especially as you start to mature. See, I talk about it. Aging is inevitable, but aging poorly is not. But the fact is, the fact is that what you did in your 20s is not what you should be doing in your 40s and mid 40s and 50s and 60s. Everything should be customized to you, to your age, to your activity level, to your muscle to fat ratio, to your hormonal imbalances. So that's why we do, when I say we, my husband and I do what we do, because everything is customized. Because the way that I eat and the macros that I eat are not necessarily what you should be doing. And again, it's based on your age, based on activity level, based on muscle fat ratio, hip to waist ratio. Are you on medications, no medications? Have you had kids? Have you had any surgeries? Do you have any autoimmune issues? And I have talked about this already in the last episode. But that's where everything needs to be customized. Even the way that you fast. Someone that has a sluggish thyroid compared to high insulin levels should fast differently. Somebody that has a thyroid issue to high insulin levels or insulin resistant or high cortisol levels should strength train. Everyone should strength train, but how you go about it is going to be a little different. And how your stress strategies or de-stressing strategies and your resting, your supplementation is going to be different. And why am I talking about all of this? Because again, you got the hormone health hierarchy. And with the hormone health hierarchy, doesn't mean that you only focus on food first and then only focus on fasting. Then you can do it. You can do it all. You do it in order, but you can do it all in sync. Okay, all at the same time. But often what we'll try to do is we try to go get a supplement, or we try to work out really hard, or we automatically go on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. And really, that's a recipe for disaster. And you wonder why you're not getting results. You're putting in all this effort and spending all this money and little to no results. Going back to one of the things I talked about is like normal for your age, right? They're telling you it's normal for your age. Just because something is common, it doesn't mean it's normal. And again, normal doesn't mean optimal. When they're telling you your labs are normal, it's because it's normal. They do a baseline of, so if you're going through hormonal decline, you're perimenopausal, postmenopausal, whatever. So that's typical to see those type of numbers. But they say it's normal instead of saying, okay, yeah, your numbers are normal, but this is what we can do about it. And I could go off a whole nother tangent on that. And I will talk more about bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, because I think there's a lot of misunderstandings out there when it comes to it. But today I want to wrap up this mastering your metabolism and talking about the hormone health hierarchy and understand what are some simple things that you can do. So I had a little rant there. Stick with me, okay? My little rant, because the big question is, do I have to track my macros? No, you don't have to. But if you really want to get dynamic results, nothing becomes dynamic until you become really specific. And if you're tired of feeling the way that you're tired, sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, that's where you can start. Instead of going out and doing all these cleanses and all these things, that's another thing. The way that you cleanse should be totally different than what you did in your 20s and your 30s. Because as you start to go through hormonal decline, you're doing these juice cleanses and these supplements and all these things and cutting out whole food groups, but you have to be protecting your muscle at all costs. Because as we start to go through hormonal decline, I've talked about it on the episode where I talk about protein, that you start to go into a catabolic state. It's natural for us to start losing muscle, and that's not good, because muscle is going to be the feeder of mitochondria. The more mitochondria, the more energy we have, the healthier that we are, the stronger that our bones are, the stronger that our immune system is, the slower that we age. So it should be hashtag mission protect muscle. So the way that you cleanse, there should be macro ratios. The way that you address your hormone imbalances to balance them out should be addressed with specific macro ratios. And then taking it to the next level, saying, okay, my body's functioning well. I got my hormones kind of like back on track. Now I really want to focus on sculpting, increasing that muscle. Then that's specific ratios. But going back, do you have to? No. That's one of the things why I put the free resource together for you, as far as Hormone Reset 101. It's the guide, 14-day guide with emails and mini course. And I talk about your protein ratios and what you can do. I talk about eyeball method. So you can just start with the basics. Here's just a basic. Simply shifting your eating habits in a sense. I'm not saying, okay, because sometimes people, when they hear that, they're like, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that. No, just start focusing on organic produce and grass-fed meats and organic meats. That's one thing that you could do, because there's studies that have been released showing, I believe it was over 7 days. I mean, not the study, but they were able to show that within 7 days, you were able to, or they were able to decrease toxins in their system, xenoestrogens, up to 90% simply by shifting to organic produce. Basic, start there. That's what you can do. So don't get all overwhelmed. Don't get all inside of your head. You know, people are like, I got to get this test done and I got to do all these things. Just start with the basics, but figure out where you are. That's my point. And I know I talked about it on the last episode, but I can't hammer home this enough about things that it should be customizable, that you really should start being aware of what you're doing and where your body is. Start paying attention to those things. Start tracking. But again, just start with the basics. If everything, focus on your budget, you know, as far as the, you know, dirty dozen, stay away from the dirty dozen. Focus on the clean 15. What is the dirty dozen? In case you don't know, those are the ones that you absolutely 100% should buy organic, because they're laden with pesticides and all the crap and chemicals. Clean 15 are the ones that are somewhat safe and not loaded down with the pesticides and chemicals and all the stuff, herbicides. Okay? So you can start there. Focus on getting in plenty of water. Focus on getting enough activity in. What does that look like? Well, I'm going to tell you, you should be strength training, but just get up and move. I think it was like the average American only gets like 3,500 steps in a day. That's nothing. Shoot for, so that's another thing. Track. Do you even know how active you are? We overestimate so much our activity and we underestimate small, manageable changes. We underestimate the amount of calories that we're taking in. We underestimate our actual activity, and we overestimate, right? Or we overestimate. Totally had that backwards. We overestimate. I don't know. What it is that because we have no idea where we are, we have no idea what we're doing, and we underestimate the amount of calories. There we go. I got it right. I'll get it out there. And we underestimate and overestimate, thinking we get a lot of activity. So start there. Now, wrapping this up, because I know I've talked about just going all over the place, but wrapping up the segment when it comes to mastering your metabolism, rewinding, because I talked about your DNA, and how your DNA talk to your cells, and your cells talk to your body, to your hormones. What influences your DNA? What is those epigenetics? And it's your lifestyle factors. It's your level of stress. It's your food or bad food to good food ratio, and I don't even like saying that, but because I talked about it, I don't believe in good and bad, but quality food, right? Activity or, lack of activity, rest or lack of rest, and then lifestyle habits. What are lifestyle habits? Like whether you're fasting, whether you are adding in supplementation, things that are going to either support your DNA or make your DNA, we talked about, make it act up. Make sense? So I know that's a lot of information in a short period of time, but let's rewind and go back to the basics. Going back to the basics of, look at those 5 factors. Just look at those and say, where can I improve? Don't judge, just inspect it. Okay? Don't judge, just inspect it. What are my stress levels? And then what can I do about it? What's in my control? What does my food look like? And then what can I do about it? And what am I willing to do about it? What does my activity look like? How can I improve on it? What does my rest look like? How can I improve on it? What things can I add in to my lifestyle that are going to support healthful aging? Those are the basics. There you have it. I'm going to wrap it up. And then we have so much that's going to be happening. I have some really cool interviews booked and cool guests that I'm going to be bringing on. But we're going to talk, I'm going to break down even more. I'm always going to be talking about food. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Food be thy medicine. Man, I'm all over the place today. But we're going to talk about fasting more and those strategies. We're talking about exercise, strength training, rest more, stress, supplementation, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and where does medication play a role into things? We are going to talk about those things more. But I just wanted to come in here today, wrap up Mastering Your Metabolism. The answer is no. You don't have to track macros if you absolutely don't want to. And if you want more help, you can go get our free resource, Hormone Reset 101. That's the 14-day guide with emails, mini course, and community. And if you want to even take that to the next level, we just released our club. Everything's in the show notes, Hormone Reset Club, where every month I give you sessions on exactly how you go from A to Z when it comes to cleansing macros, to hormone balancing macros, to sculpting macros. But when I talk about macros, it's called Hormone Macro Code. And it's not just your nutrition. There's a certain way that you should be fasting based on your profiling. There's a certain way that you should be strength training based on your profiling. Like I said, different stress strategies based on your profiling, certain supplementation based on your profiling, all of that. And then we educate on BHRT. And our whole goal is to help you balance your hormones, reset your metabolism, so you start feeling amazing and confident in your skin. And we do that on a month-to-month basis in our club. And every month I go live with our club women and I do live virtual clinics. And that's where I break stuff down and I answer your questions and I help you customize your numbers. It's really cool. But okay, I'll wrap it up there. As always, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this series particularly. I hope you got not just enjoyed it, but I hope you got something out of it. And, I want to thank you for the grace that you show me, because I know sometimes I can go on a tangent and I have a lot of thoughts in my head. And right now I'm getting ready to travel out to South Dakota for one of my best friend's daughter's wedding. Oh, and I have that all on my mind. And then I'm trying to pump out this podcast at the same time. so I don't get overwhelmed. But then I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. And we're going to get down to some more nitty gritty. But yeah, this is the wrap up of Mastering Your Metabolism. Take the time, 10 seconds. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. I really appreciate it. And I love you guys. And I'll see you on the next podcast.